So how often during a week of trying to visualize the process that you use, you get I guess a version sent via email or something, and you have to add a character? Talk about the writing process itself.
Well, it hasn't so much been adding a character at that point. It's been like while we're on stage practicing and going through the performance, we may add in or try out different lines, and at that point we'll just have a hard copy of the script there and write those changes in, and then provide new copies of the script for the following week until we finally got to the point where we had a finished product, I'd say a couple months ago. And then we've been working off that since then, and again there still have been minor fluctuations, but no major overhauls.
Yeah, what happens with a script is when you're doing a rehearsal, and somebody might say ad-lib something, and what happened? It turns out to be so good, we end up writing it in, and that's how it evolved. For a lot of when you hear it, sometimes you realize it's not working, and then somebody will make a suggestion, and it works. Like for example, there's a situation where the adventurer he's in love with one of the characters, and he keeps giving her these gifts, and she's in love with somebody else. So there's this little triangle going on, and I had made a suggestion. I said, you know, why don't you, when you get, because in the script it'll say she kind of doesn't really want it, so he gives her this gift, and I say, try throwing it away. So as he leaves, she says, thank you, I'll put it with everything else, and she just chucks it.
And that gets a laugh.
And it gets a laugh, and it works. When you see
Yeah.
it works. There's a few things that work, and by seeing it and rehearsing, we start to see how things work and change according to the situation. And then as people have developed their characters, and once a week is hard. You know, when people do plays, they're doing it every day, 5 days a week. We've had to memorize a full script once a week, and then sometimes sometimes he's had to miss, or I've had to miss, or, you know, so every other week. So we've had to memorize these lines and be able to interact and find our spots and stay blocked out. So it
takes a lot of talent.
It takes a lot of work.
And Susan's got 3 lines.
I got 4 lines.
4 lines.
And I still
Where'd
don't
you get the extra line.
And somewhere. You know,
she wrote it for herself.
I write this. I'm an unusual actress because I know my lines, but except on stage, and then I forget them, so I have to make them up. So
but being a lush works out for her. That's why she was really, what I try to do is if somebody has, you know, like an accent, or I really sort of handpick the cast. I mean, it's just been on my journey of life. I mean, I got Owen and Susan from Craigslist, but really everybody else I handpicked just on my daily journey of life and what I do. And everybody's really just come together and gelled, and then when I find a person, I'm like, I think you'd be this really good character. And then they come in and they start working with different accents, and we created this lady named Flo. She was somebody else, but she came in with this hair, and so we called her Flo. Ryan called her Flo. We were trying to think of a name for her. And so she's now like, maybe they'll go with the flow, and she just really works it, and she's from another murder mystery. She used to do murder mysteries up in Raleigh. So it's just my journey and my daily life has brought really everybody together.
So Owen, what would you say the secret to the good chemistry that's here is? What is the secret to it?
The main thing is just showing up. You get there and you got the rehearsal going, and there was a feeling. We started in the late spring, and it was kind of bumpy along for a while. Jory was getting people together, and we really couldn't do full run-throughs. But there was something that happened around June, I think, where we actually recognized that we're all in this together, and it got very supportive. And the characters, instead of sort of looking to their own part, began to try to see how they could make the rest of it go well too. And that really went into overdrive when we finally got our first performance date. And for 3 weeks leading up to that, everybody was really focused on let's make this thing really work.
So what is it, Jeff? What would you say the secret to the good chemistry that you guys have is? What's making it work?
Well, I think we're all very open with each other. No secrets, and when Ryan has a good idea, he blurts it out. and the same thing goes with everybody else. It's a lot of, has to do with a lot of teamwork, and it has to. Teamwork has to be a part of it, or else it would never work. Dealing with just one person being the boss and everybody else listening, there's no way, because this is, like Susan said, like, it's once a week, and that 2.5 hours a week has to count, and we can't do it just with one person. We have to do it with everybody, and everybody puts their 2 cents in, and it's perfect. It works really well. We all get along.
We've been very lucky to have a great cast.
So what's driving you? As the producer, you were the creator of this idea. What was your personal motivation starting out with this?
Well, I want good people to be seen and get them up and out. You know, I want people that normally wouldn't get to have this opportunity. It's very hard to finding stage space. It's very hard finding people to believe in you, and very hard for people to really just come together. And I really feel like, you know, like we're like that 70s show, sort of like they have that chemistry. I mean, well, you know, not that we're that huge or anything, but we really have that chemistry and that camaraderie to be able to work well together. I mean, and this isn't even half the cast right here, and so many more people wish they could have been here today. But you know, we got together what we could, and we love it, you know, we really do. And I want them to get seen and up and out. You know, Jeff doing his music is going to get him further. Susan, who never really wanted to, never really came out to act, is doing great and helping me with the website, and Ryan just contributing, and the editing of the script, and everybody just being there, and Mike, and you know, he's been doing great work. Just above and beyond the Call of Duty, and Owen's just been spectacular. Everybody's just really been contributing.
Yeah, but Jory, one of the things Jory, she allows you, she lets you. She's not. It's not a dictatorship, which it can be sometimes with producing and directing. She encourages people to have input, and it's important to be comfortable having input. So I think we'll admit she says, well, what do you think?
She makes a lot of space for us.
Yes, thank you.
Sometimes a little too much, because they're like, we're going to hang ourselves. But then really somebody comes out with something and it just worked. You know, it takes that little bit of time, just like, you know, okay, the cast needs me. You know, the cast needs us. What can we contribute? You know, and we'll be like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Let's do it. You know, and we start rehearsing it, and we're off and running, and that's the change, and that's it, and we're on to something new.
Sometimes we argue.
We do, yeah. Nobody.
We had a problem with the ending at one point.
Yeah,
we were all into arguing. Owen wanted this huge shootout, and I'm saying I don't think so. So
yeah,
like they were arguing.
We compromise. We compromise.
Yes.
And,
so I mean, we have our ups and our downs.
But I think everybody really feels like we have a great show, and we have something really that's quality to put out.
Yeah. We've got a family. We have a very good family.
It is.
And you know, we're adopting more and more people.
Yes,
so they're all
we
coming
are.
over to our place for Thanksgiving. Is that it?
I don't think so.
We need a big turkey.
I was wondering, you know, when we're going to see the TV show of Redrum.
Oh, I would
Lord.
love that. Yeah.
We're doing a musical.
Would you consider?
Well, you never know. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
There you go.
It sounds like you got good chemistry, and you know, I think the key, just like any healthy relationship, is you love it, and in loving it, you let it grow organically, and you're not trying to control it and make everything happen. You just sort of let it grow on its own, and that way everybody feels comfortable and like their role is equal.
Yeah, well, you know, Stacey, it's the nice thing about it is it's not just on set or when we're on stage. You know, not for the sake of sympathy, I had a car accident in May, and Jory was constantly on the phone with me for about 2 weeks, every day, just, how you doing, how you doing, how you doing? I was like, I'm fine, you know. And
She was just trying to get you back to rehearsals.
I know, you know, man, get him off the bottle.
That's what
But
went, huh?
it's just, you know, and then I went through a job change, and constantly I'd walk into rehearsal, and the first thing would be like, hey, how's it going? You know, you had the interviews, and I just landed a big one, and, you know, then everybody just turns around and it's like, you know, good going.
Well, I think we've got a bottle of scotch, and we're getting ready to break it open here in just a minute. Thank you all for tuning in today to The Artist Craft. I'm your host, Stacey Cochran. For all of us here at Raleigh Television Network, thank you for tuning in. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming down.
Thanks.
All right, I appreciate it.
Stacey?
And Detective Slaughter, thanks.
Another case solved.
Yes, indeed.
Off to Pinehurst they go.